What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Leveled Up Life podcast. It's Branamier, Courtney here today with Paul McClain, looking real official, bro. You look good, man. You came down to my office in a suit earlier. I was like, bro, where are we going? The podcast or a wedding, bro?
Stay tuned for what's coming up. Why I'm wearing
amazing.
This. Stay tuned.
Let's go, bro. I'm glad to be here with you. You sent me some show notes this morning, so we're gonna get deep, bro. We're gonna get deep quick. Yeah. It's like our new philosophy, just in life, man. I think as men, we gotta sometimes just cut the fluff. Like there's seasons of like, you know, when you date, like you get to know people and all that. It's kind of fluff, but like, man, we're at the point now with the audience. Like, let's get to work. You know, let's get to the things that are actually gonna make a difference. And so you shot this over to me this morning. I love the thought, and it's really living life by design, right? Like having an intentional life, having a philosophy to your life. And I was just thinking about like the first thing that came to my mind was like a head coach. And so whenever a team fires a coach, it's typically because the philosophy that they were using wasn't working. And so they want to bring in some fresh ideas. Yeah. And I think that at the highest level, like in the NFL, when a coach comes in, day one, he's like laying the groundwork of who we are, what we believe, what we stand for. Yeah. And typically they'll bring in a coach that is like either defensive minded or offensive minded or has a good balance of both. But like if the philosophy is unclear, the players are unclear. And so I think in life, the same is true. Like if you don't know your philosophy and how you lead, how you love, how you serve, how you steward, man, everything's just unclear, especially if you're leading a lot of people. So, dude, I'm excited to jump into this topic with you, bro, because you're a master at, I think, just living life with design and being intentional, especially with those you lead. Like it's very clear that you know who you are as you're building and growing. Like I know we don't always feel it sometimes. We're like, dude, I don't know who I am, bro. And we've had those conversations like that. We're just figuring life out.
But from you too, there's no way because we both judge it. Like, oh, he's got it all together. He doesn't ever deal with that, right?
But from the outside looking in, man, I think this is right in your wheelhouse. So let's jump into it, man. How to live a life by design. What's why you need a philosophy for life?
I think for me right now, because I feel like my schedule has gotten so exceedingly busier, right? Yeah. And there's so many things that are on my plate. I'm reminded of how important a philosophy is and how easy it is to forget it if it's not in front of you all the time when you get crazy busy, right? And so this is one of the things that I thought about this week, just kind of like looking at and analyzing like my own season of life right now. And I just wonder if there's a lot of people out there like that as well, where it's like you've got a lot that you're managing, whether that's in your faith, your fitness, your family, your relationships, your career, your business, your finances, like all these things that we're managing. Like I feel like nowadays there's so much information, right? Like I love what you said, like getting deep fast. Like there's so much out there. We need to get deep fast, or there's so much information we'll stay surface forever. Yeah. Right. And so I just think that like this philosophy, I sat back and thought like, what really matters? Like what's the philosophy for one? Well, the philosophy is like your strong held beliefs. It's like your non-negotiables and your core values. Yeah. And I think that when you get those three things really right and focused on, then it helps you make the right decisions. Like I think it's easy to live by decision fatigue. Like yesterday, I had made so many decisions. When I was leaving, I asked, she's like, "Are you okay?" Yeah. Like I think I had reverted back to like a 5-year-old. I couldn't even think straight, right? Because I had so many decisions. But I think it's important now. Like it's important to sit back and say, okay, before I just go do a bunch of things today and get confused and think like, what do I do? Do I do this? Do I do that? Like just really saying, let me get back to what are my non-negotiables, what are my strong held beliefs, and what are my core values, and let's start there and kind of build from there.
Yeah, that's great. I think so talk about that even because you could have these in every area of life, right? Like so, for example, like you can lay your philosophy in how you are as a husband. Like as a husband, I mean, I'm a servant first, right? Like I serve my wife, I honor my wife. So like I think we can break down every category, but I think what happens a lot of time for most people is philosophies are kind of like hand-me-downs. And so everyone has a philosophy of life in every area, either by intention or unintention, right? And so if you're not intentional about who you are in every area of your life, either your past experience, your parents, your grandparents passed you down a way of seeing the world, right? And I think, hand-me-downs are good for like if you can't afford kind of your own clothes or like whatever it is. Like it's good for a season, but you don't want to wear hand-me-downs forever. Like eventually you want your own stuff. And I think a lot of people are living in hand-me-down thoughts, hand-me-down views. and they don't even know why they see things or believe things the way that they do. And so I think as you grow in your leadership, number one, you gotta decide what type of leader you want to be, right? So for us, like, it's the foundation of faith. So everything is filtered through that foundation. So it's like as a husband, I'm going, man, my philosophy as a husband is not how I feel that day. It's based on what Christ tells us to be as a husband. And so that's the philosophy that we're called to live by in marriage, right? Which is to lay down our life for our bride, right? In the most extreme sense. And so it's like, if I'm in everyday life with my bride, are my decisions being filtered through sacrifice? Right? With money, it's like, what's my philosophy with money? Well, if you're wearing hand-me-down beliefs about money and your parents weren't good with money, you're probably not either, because you've just seen life that way. And so you have to decide, okay, with money, I'm going to be a saver, I'm going to be an investor. Or if you have no philosophy, you'll just kind of be reckless with it. And so, I don't know, I guess get real specific on, I think people can understand why a philosophy is important, because it helps you filter, right? It helps you make decisions and decide, so you don't have to have decision fatigue. But like, how do you, just real practical, create, I guess, a philosophy for every area of your life? Like, I know you have family mission and values and all that kind of stuff, so maybe talk through some of that.
Yeah, I think for like, what I've realized is like, dude, if I don't have these core values, non-negotiables, like strong held beliefs, then I get moved by feelings, dude. Like I'll start doing what I feel like doing. And every time that takes place, it's usually an outcome I don't like to do, right? It's kind of like if one of my philosophies is like, I'm just a disciplined person and I operate from self-control, not emotion. Well, then when my alarm clock goes off in the morning and I'm getting ready to roll over, I try to remind myself of my philosophy. Like, if I'm moved by emotion, then I'm going to do it later. Or even like with, my daughter Penelope, I remember when she was, like 5 years old, 4 years old, dude, she would get really emotional and then she would just lose it, right? Like she would be gone, like disrespectful, disobedient. And my emotion was like, I want to give her a consequence, discipline her right then. And I sat back and thought, my philosophy is to have love and truth, and to make sure that I'm not moved by emotions, but I'm moved by what I desire to have the outcome be. And so that's caused me to slow down and say, okay, what can I do here? Because it wasn't working. And so then I would change the environment. Like, hey, let's go on the trampoline. Let's go change it. And then at night, I would slow down and knew that, okay, she's more relaxed at night. Her emotions are down. She's getting ready for bed. Then I'd go sit with her and I'd ask her about, how she felt. Like, how did you feel afterwards? Like, what do you think you could do differently the next time? And I'd role play with her. And that really made a big difference. But it came from this philosophy of like, let me not just react from an emotion. My emotion was like, you're disrespecting me. You're disrespecting your mom. I'm going to handle you right now and deal with the situation, but nothing was helping. That's good. And I think it goes to finances too. Like, there's been times where, like, as you do well financially, like I could go just enjoy something that, like, whether that's a really expensive dinner or going out and spending a bunch of money on different things. But then my philosophy is like, I want to be a good steward of my money. Like, I want to make sure it's stewarded well. My philosophy is I want to have generational impact. And so if I go spend the money all the time on pleasurable things, then I can't really invest in different areas to create generational impact.
Yeah, that's good.
And so I think it comes down to like all those different things, just like saying, what do I really want? Like, what matters? And then what strong held beliefs and what non-negotiables and what value system do I need that's going to help me get to that place?
Yeah, I love that. I think of an example of like maybe someone steps into a job for the first time. And so there's a new environment and you go, okay, who am I now as a person, as an employee, right? Or as a new business owner or whatever it is. So you got two different types of people. Like one philosophy might be like, well, I'm going to show up here and I'm going to come early. I'm going to work hard. And that's kind of just how I live life. I work hard. I show up early. I stay late. I grind, right? That's great. That's your philosophy. Yeah. Another person might be like, okay, I do all those same things, but I also self-develop. I read books. I grow. I listen to podcasts. Like, I'm trying to not just grind it out, but I'm trying to personally develop. And I think the person who like has a philosophy like I'm going to grow and get smarter, I think if you study their life over 5 years, 10 years, the person who shows up, works hard, and thinks that that's going to be the only thing that advances them is going to get far surpassed by the person who's self-developing, because that was nothing wrong with the philosophies, but just two different ones, right? Someone says, I'm going to grow, I'm going to self-develop, I'm going to read books, I'm going to listen to podcasts, I'm going to ask the right questions. I think over time, like, that philosophy will prove to be the better one. And so I think that a lot of us have just kind of defaulted into a way of living, like even with our kids. You're saying, like, I want to just, we all want to be a good dad, right? We all want to tell our kids the right things, but we've kind of just like lived life on like, man, if I just show up and I'm present, well, therefore I'll be good. Well, maybe not, right? Maybe I have to take the extra step and sit down and figure out, because every kid is different. And so I just think it's the philosophy of life in every different area is unique to the person. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
or no?
100%. I think that, there's certain philosophies that, like, at the end of the day, like, I try to pull the values, my strong-held beliefs, and my non-negotiables from the Word of God. Yeah. Right. Like, so that's how I know, like, is my strong-held beliefs, is it a good strong-held belief? Or is it in line with what God says? But it's so essential to, like, really kind of get these values down, because now when you're presented with, like, how to behave, and you could check it with, like, your values, right? It's kind of like even when Parker got sick, it was, I could have got caught in fear in that emotion, but my value was faith over fear. Yeah, that's good. That vision over feelings. And so, like, if that was it, then how do I create the right vision that's going to get me above my feelings and cause me to operate out of my philosophy? Yeah. And that's where, like, even the praise run came, because I was spending many days just, like, broken, like, God, like, give me direction. I can't get past this feeling. And in those praise runs, I was able to get out, allow my, physiology to dictate my psychology. I was moving. I wasn't just sitting there at my desk, right, hoping the emotion would go away. And I started to run around, Spring Valley Lake and just praise God for what he was going to do. And I had this vision of her ringing the bell and all that kind of stuff. And what that did was it helped me really kind of get out of that place. And it was my philosophy that did that. Very good. It was me sitting back saying, like, this is not who we are. Our family values are to honor God, honor Jesus, honor others. I'm not honoring anybody sitting here stuck in my feelings. Yeah. Like, this is not who we are. So good. Our mission statement says that we live an intentional life to have a servant's heart full of love that's full of positivity and gratitude. I'm sitting here, like, negative and like, worried and like, why me? Why is this happening? And that doesn't align with our mission statement. And then I think when you have that too, it's great for even, when you pull in teams, and you have a team philosophy, a family philosophy, a business philosophy, a personal philosophy, well, then you can go back and say, like, hey, the way you just acted, the way you responded, that doesn't align with our mission. Yeah. Our family mission is to have a servant's heart full of love. You just did what I asked you to do begrudgingly. Like, you're complaining about it, whining about it. Like, that doesn't align. That's not right. And so then you can use that as a way to kind of even correct behavior. As
an anchor.
Yeah, as an anchor to say, like, hey, don't get out of line here. This is our philosophy, and you're not living it right now.
I love it. Faith over fear, ownership over like entitlement. Yeah. Like, I think when you look at the life of Jesus, like, he was on a clear mission. Like, he was not confused about why he was here. He's like, my philosophy is, like, I'm going to be obedient to what the Father says. Like, I came to reveal who the Father is. Like, so everything that I do is going to be in obedience to the Father's will. Like, I'm going to love people no matter what life looks like, and I'm going to finish my assignment, right? And so I think when you look at his life, like, every interaction, every decision, every healing, every teaching was in alignment with that philosophy. Like, he said, I'm going to do nothing outside of the Father's will. And I think it, as we do that, I love how you just made it super practical, like, because we've all been in moments and seasons when we're, like, feeling bad for ourselves, or valleys, low seasons, or just seasons where we feel like we're not thriving. And it could become so easy to just, like, sit in your own sorrow, Yeah. But when you have an anchored value system, and you could remind yourself of who you are, not just how you feel, and it pulls you out of that, right? And so sometimes you just gotta pull yourself out of, like, your sorrow. But if you have nothing to anchor yourself to, it's hard to get out of that. Yeah. But if you can go, man, no, this is who we are as a family. This is who I am as a dad, as a father, as a business owner, whatever it is. I think those values, the philosophy that you live by will be the thing that helps you pull out of that pit, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I love that, bro. I mean, good stuff.
I think practically, man, as we wrap up, is like for you to get in some quiet space, right? Yeah. A place where you could just go through and say, what are my values? What are my strong held beliefs about God? How do I view God? How do I view my family? How do I view my physical fitness, like my health? How do I view my finances? How do I view my franchise, my business? And really kind of spend some time thinking about that, right? And like, what are the things that you just, even when it becomes like really costly, where you're like, man, this would be so much easier to make this decision. Yeah. Like this would be more profitable. This would be more beneficial for personal gain. Yeah. You sit back and say, even when it's costly, what are some things that you're not willing to negotiate with, right? Because I think philosophy also keeps you, doing the thing you need to do that's going to help propel you when you don't feel like doing that thing. Like I remember going and running appointments, man, like many times, Brandon, where I was like, I'd get done with the end of the day and I crushed it, like where I just killed it. I hit my goal. Like,
what was your goal back then?
The goal was like 5K for the day, right? Yeah. And so I hit like one of the days I hit like 10,000, and it's like 5 o'clock, and I still have a 7 o'clock and an 8 o'clock, and I'm trying to negotiate myself like they're probably sleeping, right? Like what I shouldn't wake them up. Like this family actually has 3 kids. Yeah. Like I'm trying to like negotiate myself and make myself feel like justified to not go. And then I remember my philosophy was like, no, I never don't go to an appointment because I don't know if the client's going to wake up tomorrow. Yeah. And it's not about me, it's about them. And I remember having days where I got smoked, dude, like where I had like 3 no sales. I'm like, this is just not working. I'm off my game. I'm probably not going to be able to help this client. If I was on my game, I could probably help them. Let me just reschedule it. And I said, no, that's not a non-negotiable, is that I always go to a family's house because they might not come home tomorrow. And like there's been many times where I had great success in that day because those last 2 appointments I went to. And so I think once you've got the values right locked in, and then you tie your standards and non-negotiables. I feel like, standards are like values with teeth, right? Give something to kind of to hold on to. And so now as you go out through your day, your standards are just a reflection of these strong-held values and beliefs that you got. And so just take some time and put it together and then write it out. Brandon, the last couple of weeks, you've had some unbelievable messages on like language and communication and speaking. I think it's important not just to have the philosophy, but have a spoken philosophy, right? Like that's like the mission statement, or we've got it on the wall in there that says faith over feelings. It's got identity over behavior. All those things that remind us throughout the day. We have our language remind us of what we should be doing and how we should be thinking, and therefore how we should be behaving. And now all of a sudden our life starts to go in the direction of our desired outcome and what we want to have happen. Why? Because you created a philosophy. You had some standards, you had some non-negotiables, and then you had the right language to remind yourself. So you had some baseline to say, hey, am I off track here? Am I on track? How do I get back on track? What should I do here? And I think it's so important to really take your business and your life to the next level.
Love it, bro. When you know who you are, you know what to do, right? When identity is clear, decisions become easier. And so I think you absolutely crushed it, bro. I got some work to do. I know people watching, I hope you take notes. I hope you turn the volume up. Do us a favor, share this with people. Paul, I love what you said. Find some quiet space and literally write these things out, because it's one thing to know, it's another thing to do. And so I'm a big component is, I have to write it down. Like when I'm teaching, I have great thoughts in my mind, but until I write it down and make it real and I could see it, and once I see it, I can give action steps behind it. And so I hope this I was going to say sermon, this message, this podcast, bro, you were preaching. I hope it gave you value. If it did, man, do us a favor. Leave a comment. Let us know you're watching. Share this with somebody. Don't be selfish, right? Our heart, like we say this every week, is to not only give you value, but hopefully the people that you're attached to, you can give them a little piece of value. So share this with somebody. Man, we love you so much. And thanks for tuning in.
Hey, guys, make it a big week. We love you. Take care. God bless you guys.